which I can talk about. So what we generally do is we hire people on the basis of skills. And then every year we evaluate their performance on the basis of competence. So we assume that we are not talking about skills now because we have hired him for skills and that goes for ages and ages and ages. So the entire dialogue between us and that person is now on only competence. That is the gap. We should get into a dialogue of not just competence, but about the skill gap analysis, skill upgradation, and about skills also, which is a very big gap which generally happens. And I think that is something which we need to bridge in. And AI really helps in that sort of skill gap analysis. So this is one area which I think can be taken care of, and a lot of interesting versions of AI are helping in this regard.
Same question to both of you is, what would you actually enable your leaders and managers with to ensure that they use these tools or be competent enough to use these tools? Because the reality is the kid we get into our organizations off campus is probably a lot more talented on these technologies and tools, and probably I am for sure. So how do I ensure I am equipped? I know what's happening on the ground, right? So question to both of you.
All right. So I'll answer this maybe at a slightly higher level, and then we'll get into a more granular skills angle. I think it all begins with the mindset. I'm sure each one of us in the room has worked with leaders, irrespective of their age and life stage, who are very open to learning, who believe they are not always the smartest person in the room, and collective wisdom is always greater than the wisdom of one person. I can see a few people nod their heads, right? You would have seen people perhaps who are in their 60s, 70s also display the same learning orientation, and on the flip side, you may see someone who may be earlier in their career who would come in with a bit of a rigid mentality and have a chip on the shoulder saying, I'm the best and I don't have much to learn, right? So I think it starts there. It starts with, from a culture perspective, from a mindset perspective, us encouraging that success will come to you only if you are open to learn, and to learn from anyone, right? From the janitor of the organization to a member of the board in the organization. So I think that's perhaps, and in my personal experience where I've seen that work better is in one-to-one coaching conversations. That's not a training program conversation. It doesn't, training program doesn't do magic in a topic like this when the person is not open to learning at all. So I think that's the first one I would say. And then the second one, of course, one can rattle out a list of competencies. World Economic Forum every single year comes out with a list of competencies that people need in order to stay relevant. Thank you. In today's day and age, I'm sure all of you can look those up. If I were to boil it down to just one thing, and one thing for us to remember, it's learning how to learn. Just like AI, generative AI is learning from its own past experiences. They're learning how to learn. We also need to be able to learn how to learn and keep getting better every single day.
I think she was able to put it absolutely appropriately. I would just add on to say that I think it's a change management process, like any other situation. You need to go slow. One, create some baby steps, create some small successes, instead of pushing the leaders or anyone else in the organization to say this is how it has to be done. And I'll take a quick example. When we, typically we all have HRMSs in our organization. What is the adoption rate in the first year among different set of people? And I'm not calling out the different set of people. It could be geography, it could be age, it could be gender, it could be anything else too. But the point is the adoption rate is initially lesser and it only catches up, later. Same is a great example, whether we call it a LXP or a LMS or whatever. We all have e-learning tools or platforms. What happens to the adoption rate? All HR guys or L&D professionals land up running schemes, programs, R&R related to e-learning, the winner of the month, and things like that. So it's a change management process is what I will reiterate. Take it easy, make realistic targets, and keep involving leader. Make it a very inclusive process right from the day one. Involve a large team, cross-functional team if you can, before you dive into buying a technology or partnering in a technology. Get leaders to participate in it, and don't expect too much from day one. I think we can all learn and co-learn together as the time passes. But of course, we need to make most out of the resources that we've deployed in the energy. But I think don't rush.
A very operative word, get leaders to participate, which is quite challenging for a lot of new initiatives actually. And something that I would like to ask all of you, right? I mean, is generative AI for the boardroom really a thing? Is it, I mean, I keep getting asked a question saying, can you create a program for 2 hours or 4 hours for generative AI for boardroom? And I see many smiling faces. Can any of you just explain what you think and, you know, what's your view, what's happening in your organizations? You're smiling. Can I hear from you? Laughing actually, not smiling. For the leaders?
Ericsson is an organization where we believe that change has to come from the top.
Yeah.
It's a very much top to bottom driven kind of an organization, and I must say the values that we have, where the leaders equally participate. So we have recently done a couple of sessions where we've spoken about generative AI, and the first group of people to look into and attend these workshops is definitely our leaders, and leaders not only from the business side, also from the all the aspects of the business, that is human resource and everything. So yes, we have done that, and it is coming up well, because again the thought process has to come from top to bottom.
Yeah. No, excellent. No, no, please.